check. Welcome to the weekly roundup edition of the UBC Lunchtime News, the bulletin that brings you the stories that made headlines within the week. My name is Wadulo Arnold Mark, and I'm going to be running with you for the next 1 hour, so do sit tight as we share with you these insights. In our top story today, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni reaffirmed that a well-secured and united East Africa will foster development and continue to drive integration among member states and communities. But President Museveni attended this year's annual regional Piniluo Cultural Festival in Siaya County, Kenya. The event was graced by local leaders, including Kenyan President, His Excellency William Ruto, as these details share with us.
Got Ramogi Hill Shrines in Siaya County, Kenya was a place to be on Thursday, 2nd January 2025 as hundreds gathered to celebrate the annual regional Piniluo Cultural Festival. The cultural festival brought together the Luo-speaking communities from Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia and South Sudan, with Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni leading the Ugandan delegation.
So we are happy. We, Kenya and Uganda, we are brothers. We, of course, have the artificially created borders, which were drawn somewhere in Berlin, where none of our forefathers were represented.
Museveni was on the invitation of his Kenyan counterpart, His Excellency William Ruto.
Are the Mzee of our region. You have demonstrated great resilience. When I requested you, as the Right Honorable Prime Minister has said, you graciously informed me that any event that brings East Africans together is an event that...
As part of the celebration, President Museveni was crowned as a Luo elder.
Yoweri! Yoweri! Yoweri!
His Excellency Yoweri Museveni was crowned alongside his host, Kenya's President William Ruto, and former Kenyan Prime Minister Right Honorable Raila Odinga.
The view is that these borders, we don't need to become impediments to cooperation and working together.
Led by Governor of Siaya County, James Orengo, President Museveni, in company of William Ruto and Honorable Raila Odinga, had a guided tour at Jaramogi Oginga Mausoleum and the 4 Luo traditional huts representing the 4 sons of Luo. Museveni hailed the past and present leaders of the East African countries like Kenya and Tanzania, raising the need for integration.
Number 3, ensure that never again will Africa be under threat. Strategic security. Never be under threat from anybody, whatever. So which means you have to build new strength. But that sort of strength of spears and swords is not what we need now. We need strength which can defend us from all threats.
He reassures that an integrated East Africa and Africa will spur unity, security and development.
Some people go to the moon, and for us we are here. They are looking at us from there as if we are small insects. And they can spray things on us we don't even know. And we are just here, defense forces. What are you defending? You don't even know what is in the sky. How do you achieve this? Use the Undugu, which is already existing. If there are Jaruos in Congo, in Uganda, in South Sudan, in Ethiopia, in Kenya, in Tanzania, why don't you use that? Why don't you use it to bring these countries together?
He also reaffirmed his support to Raila Odinga's candidature for the African Union job.
Now that we are beginning to use this approach of getting the people together, I am very happy. Where I heard what the professor was saying, that you played football, you wrestled and so on. But I wish you had added one political item. Not 2, not 3.
From here, the delegation headed to Sia for the grand opening of the newly constructed Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Stadium. Kenya Soccer Club Gor Mahia and Uganda's Kitara FC contested in an eye-opener match, with Uganda's side losing it on 9-8 on penalties. Newly built stadium has a seating capacity of 20,000 supporters. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
And in more news from this week, the Ministry of Education and Sports is to recruit 2,821 teachers for 91 seed schools opening in the 2025 academic year. The chairperson of the Education Service Commission, Dr. Samuel Luboga, says that eligible candidates will be both degree and diploma holders. Let's take a look.
The Education Service Commission has created 10 clusters to streamline the recruitment process for the 2,821 teachers needed for newly established seed schools.
Each designated center will receive application forms for only schools in that cluster. To strictly use application form UGIFT/2/2024 and the summary form UGIFT/2/2024, which can be accessed on the Education Service Commission website.
Interested candidates are to submit their applications in person at cluster offices between January 6th and 10th, 2025.
Bring their applications individually, they don't send anyone. If an application is sent by someone, it will not be received. And when they arrive, they'll find a box where they drop the application. They will not have the luxury of talking to somebody and receiving help from anybody from the Education Service Commission. The person will be at a distance only to watch you drop in your application and sign registering your application.
The Commission has allocated 1.3 billion shillings to expedite the process before the academic year starts on 4th of February.
An application form, if you don't handle it well, is equivalent to money, illegal money. And we want to advise our applicants not to send the application forms through agents.
The Commission's recruitment advert includes diploma in education bearers.
Still under discussion, and that matter of having teachers with only degrees is actually creating a lot of debate. But at the moment, the Commission recruits both diploma and degree holders.
The recruitment will cover 2,093 teaching staff, 182 administrators, and 546 non-teaching staff.
School will receive 31 staff, and these will include 2 administrators, meaning head teacher and deputy head teacher. The application process for those was completed online on the 8th December 2024. The 31 would also include 6 non-teaching staff and 23 teaching staff for different subjects.
At the end of the exercise, 637 science graduate teachers will be engaged, 637 arts graduate teachers will be hired, 364 diploma science teachers, and 455 diploma arts teachers will be enlisted.
And for arts teachers for each school, at the diploma level, each school is going to get 5 teachers. Graduate science teachers will be 7. Each school graduate arts teachers will be also 7.
The 91 schools are part of the second batch of 115 seed schools under the Uganda Intergovernment Fiscal Transfer Program, or UGIFT, supported by the Ministry of Education and Sports. Abdul Nasir Lubama for UBC.
Chira Magistrates Court sentenced Tumuhire Precious to 40 years in prison after she pleaded guilty to the offense of aggravated torture. The 37-year-old woman who was convicted for the brutal torture of a 4-year-old girl in a disturbing incident that recently made headlines through social media.
A shocking video which went viral on social media during the Christmas holidays depicts Tumuhire Precious torturing a toddler in a bathroom. The incident took place in Namataba Kilinya, Bweyogerere Division, Kira Municipality, in Wakiso District. After the video went viral, Tumuhire Precious fled the area, but was later apprehended in Kabale District. She was subsequently brought back to Kira Police Station, where the crime occurred, to face the charges. Tumuhire Precious appeared before Kira Magistrates Court, where the charges were read to her.
Many bw'amateeka watuusa obune ku muntu ng'oyita mu kumutulugunya ng'omukuba omuluma ng'ogunda n'omutwe gwe. Omuntu oyo nga yetumkwase Claire omwana w'emyaka 4 ng'osinziira kuba nti wali osanze obubi mu ngoye ze ekintu ekyamuleetera okuba nga alumizibwa.
During the proceedings, she admitted to the charges of aggravated torture.
Otegedde ebikusomeddwa?
And how do you plead?
The prosecution, led by Kate Basuta, presented the facts of the case, and Tumuhire maintained their plea of guilty.
Superficial multiple human bite wounds on the face, both arms,
Nekumikono gyombi,
left lower limb,
wansi w'embiriizi,
lower back.
Confirmed and entered against the accused person. She is therefore found to be guilty and convicted as charged.
Magistrate Shauni Nuwaha then sentenced Tumuhire Precious to 40 years in prison for the brutal act.
The public is urged to be vigilant with concerted efforts to denounce and always report acts of torture or any signs of torture against the vulnerable members of the public, especially the defenseless. Divorces and separations have left many children in the care of single parents who often have to go and fend for the same children.
She has since been transferred to Luzira Government Prison to begin serving her sentence. The court session saw attendances from numerous individuals, including those who have closely followed the case.
Ntegedde mu kkooti nti n'omukyala ono muzadde amazima gennyini badde mmanyi mukyala atazaalangako naye omukyala muzadde naye ekikolwa kye yakoze omwana w'abandi nga kikolwa kibi nnyo batumubale omwana waffe.
Era nkubiriza gavumenti eyongeremu ku cameras mu bitundu byonna we zitali kuba ziyambako okulaba nga zirondoola abantu.
Deborah Namamo.
A section of musicians and events promoters under the Uganda Music Promoters Association with immediate effect banned artist Pius Mayanja, also known as Palaso, and Patrick Mulwana, also known as Alien Skin, from performing at any music events across the country for a period of 90 days. The decision was announced during a media briefing in Kampala led by events promoter turned Minister Balam Barugahara. The ban follows a recent altercation between the two artists and their respective camps. More details in this report.
The 31st December 2024 and 1st January 2025 altercations between artists Pius Mayanja, also known as Palaso, and Patrick Mulwana, alias Alien Skin, continued drawing attention from members of the general public, mainly those in the music industry.
Those were regrettable incidences, and I pray that those incidences don't happen again, a pledge on behalf of government. We shall do whatever possible to dismantle the criminal gangs, the gangs that have been terrorizing people during concerts.
The latest to derive into this matter are music promoters under the umbrella of Uganda Music Promoters Association.
Eno industry gye tulimu ya bantu bategeera, naffe abategeka tutegeera. Era tubategeeza nti buli muntu yenna awulira nti ye wakulwana, wakukuba, wakuvuma nga muyimbi, ffe nga ffe abali wano tetumanya abalala kye bategeeza, neffe abali wano tetugenda kuddamu bategeka.
With immediate effect, music promoters have placed a ban on Fangon leader Mulwana Patrick alias Alien Skin and Paraso, deferring them from performing at any concerts across the entire country.
Isiza amawulire olwaleero kwe kubategeeza nti nga tuli wamu ne bapromota bannaffe bonna tubaaninze abayimbi bonna abatuusa obulabe ku bawagizi baffe nga bakulembeddwamu Alien Skin n'abayimbi abafana.
Tuwoninga Uganda Police tubawadde ennaku 5 bwe batemusobola kudismantlinga gangisi zammwe tugenda nyambako dismantle.
We have suspended them for 90 days, effective 1st January 2025, for a period of 90 days. And during this period, we shall enable police to do a thorough investigation and give us a comprehensive report on how, who funds, the people who fund the criminal gangs should be held responsible.
The 90 days ban calls for compliance from all industry players.
Wategeka abantu botegeka nabo. Naye ebizibu ebinagwako bigenda kugwako nga ggwe. Totulajanira kozi ba promota bakama baffe eno ensonga ojja gihandolinga nga ggwe wennyini.
For security is also being faulted by these promoters for holding back their hands as hooliganism takes over the music industry.
Guno omulimu gwe gufudde Abitex kyali, gwe gufudde Baramu kyali, gwe gufudde Bajjo kyali, gwe gufudde mutabanyi wa Gerard Kiwewa kyali. Kitegeeza bwe tuguleka ne kugenda mu mikono gy'abalabe nga tukiipinze DFE nga Uganda Police bwekola.
Police mukoze kinene nnyo okuwaga Alien Skin okukola effujjo. Era police yevunaanyizibwa. Bwe muba temusobola kumujja mu bantu mu mutwalo eyo ba mu rehab amaleyo omwaka nga gumu nga beyetereza. Ffe tetugenda kukirinda.
Poliisi muganya okukola omulimu gwammwe. Poliisi tubeegayiridde mukole omulimu gwammwe nga poliisi. Kubanga abantu abamu bawulidde ebbanga ddene olimbu ayina eggaali n'oli ayina eggaali.
These musicians, certainly we are not going to allow them to create a reign of terror on the Wananchis, and generally when the police is seeing, we are going to really take stern action.
However, the promoters now want police to act conclusively and apprehend whoever is being implicated in this racket.
Whoever participated in the activity or in the gang activity will be arrested and will be held accountable for his actions. I've had a chat with the IGP. He has confirmed that he has set up a team which will do a thorough investigation and afterwards come up with a solution.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Furthermore, the High Court in Kampala delivered a verdict in a case involving the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubajje, ruling that no charges have been brought against him. The court also affirmed that Mubajje remains the legitimate leader of the Uganda Muslim community. Alhaji Sechanzi Abbas Mulubya, the Secretary General of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, welcomed the court's decision, emphasizing that it reinforces the importance of upholding the rule of law within the Muslim community.
The High Court in Kampala has delivered a verdict in the case involving the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubajje, reaffirming that Mubajje remains the legitimate leader of Uganda's Muslim community.
I'm
happy to inform you that last evening, High Court Judge Dr. Douglas Singiza Karekona issued his judgment in all applications in a consolidated manner.
The case involved individuals such as Wabiri Yudaya, Bohan Namanya and Hussein Simbwa, who had accused the Mufti and Uganda Muslim Supreme Council of wrongdoing, seeking to remove Mubajje from his leadership position. the court's verdict brings clarity and closure to this long-standing dispute. Alhaj Sechanzi Abbas Mulumbya addressed the media after the ruling, expressing gratitude for the judgment. He pointed out that the decision was vital in preserving the unity of the Muslim community, noting that those behind the false accusations had an agenda to destabilize Islam in Uganda.
And he calls upon us as Muslims to always endeavor to resolve our issues internally first before going outside. That is the ruling of the court. In the same ruling, the judge has set aside all applications, including an order that has been flying around, purportedly removing His Eminence the Mufti from office.
Sechanzi emphasized that the court's ruling made it clear that the Muslim community must refrain from using legal channels to voice grievances in the manner that undermines the leadership. He stressed the need to restore peace and unity within the community.
The application gives room for reconciliation for Muslims as brothers because he cites the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council Constitution, Article 28, that provides for the Muslims Arbitration Council. And he calls upon us as Muslims to always endeavor to resolve our issues internally first before going outside.
He further added that the ruling serves as a stern reminder that actions that violate the law, particularly those aimed at undermining the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council leadership, will not be tolerated.
To follow the law and be obedient to the judgment of court, and if you're a Muslim, to come back to Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. This is a place for all Muslims.
As a result, individuals who previously challenged the Mufti's authority, including former Deputy Mufti Sheikh Abdallah Semambo, are expected to follow legal procedures moving forward. The judgment strengthens the call for unity and adherence to the legal processes within the Muslim community.
To inform all those who have been using Uganda Muslim Supreme Council stationery, I want to particularly single out the individual called Issa Gule, who has been writing these letters, to stop, because this is now a criminality.
Muslims gathered at the Gaddafi Mosque in Old Kampala to celebrate the court's decision. The ruling has been praised by many as a step forward to ensure peace and unity within Uganda's Muslim community.
Allah owekitiibwa atutuusizza ku nkomerero y'ebintu bino eby'eggangu.
Basanyufu nnyo, tuli basanyufu, bannange tuli basibalina bwe tuwulira.
Njozayoza Uganda Muslim Supreme Council kubeera nti tutuuse ku buwanguzi.
Story compiled by Jamilu Sekaja for UBC News.
A section of leaders in Miana District called on the government to consider enhancing the funding for the parish development model to expand its reach and benefit more communities. This call was made during a public engagement organized by the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, in Mityana. Among those in attendance were religious leaders, including the Bishop of Chiyinda Mityana Diocese, the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Anthony Ziwa, among others.
As Miana District enters the new year 2025, communities are focused on strategizing to improve their livelihoods. To facilitate this process, Minister Judith Nabakova convened a public baraza in the district to discuss various developmental issues.
We are going to continue doing the same meetings in the various sub-counties and the various parishes because we want people of Mityana to live in harmony, to remain united, but also to participate in the different development programs the government of Uganda under the NRM and President Museveni has brought for our region.
The meeting took place at Mizigo Resource Center in Busimbi, sub-county, with notable attendees such as Bishop Ziwa of Chiyinda Mityana Diocese, District Kadhi Sheikh Bashir Muhammad Rwenda, and several other leaders from the district.
To be united, to be one. Tusobola okubona endowooza enjawufu waliwo natandikidde naye tekikufuula muntu mulala, ffenna tusibuka wamu. Awo nno nga bwe tuli abantu ba Katonda tukolagane bulungi.
Tuli basanyufu, Pulezidenti yakiwuliriza n'akikondamu stamp
tulina essomo nti naffe PDM eteri magoba mu byenjigiriza yaffe y'obusiraamu tulina essuubi naye ejja.
Development model PDM dominated the discussions, with leaders raising concerns about the allocation and management of the funds for the program.
Njagala kusaba nti bw'oba owuliriza bulungi pulogulaamu eno eyogera ku kigambo maka.
PDM bw'ogitunuulira eyambye nnyo abantu ba wansi.
And I believe if the leaders have appreciated and they are aware of each and everything that is taking place on matters of land and matters of PDM, they will be in position to guide the population well, but also to guide it correctly, and together we shall be moving in the right path.
They all pointed out some irregularities in the disbursement of PDM funds.
Bakagabirako abantu ku bantu 705 nga buli muntu afuna miliyoni emu. Bakagabirako amaka 745.
Honorable Minister, mu mwaka gw'ebyensimbi 2021-2022 ogatta 2022-2023 Miana PDM SACCOs 15 zaafuna akawumbi kamu mu obukadde 616 w'emitwalo 58.
Several individuals also complained about extortion during the process of the funds distribution.
Tutegeeza abantu nti abaafuna ssente omwetoolo ogwasooka mwazifuna mu bukyamu.
Mugende mu muluka gw'ennaalyankangi. Buli mukulembeze eyatwala omutwalo gwa ssente zo bazizze.
The Baraza also provided a platform for raising land-related issues.
Ate twali ku bbalaza olwokubiri abantu batta omuntu ku ttaka eryo. Kati ensonga z'ettaka eryo ziri mu bbanga.
Omuntu bamukutte naye mbadde saagala kubyogera nnyo wuuno si byakulimba oba ki bamukutte.
Minister Nabakoba responded by halting certain land use practices and promised to take appropriate action to resolve these issues.
Even matters of land, I have advised police and all stakeholders to always ensure, even if it's a court order, to move on ground, to check on the status of land where that order is supposed to be implemented and assess whether it will not violate any human rights, and they have agreed that they are going to do so.
Security concerns were also addressed during the Baraza. ASP Vincent Mwesige, the regional police commander for Wamala, reassured the members of the general public that security will take priority during this new year.
Wano Miana tewaliwo misango mingi. Honorable, in a month we register between 200 and 280 cases.
The meeting intended to sensitize all stakeholders from religious, different political parties, grassroots leaders on land matters, but also parish development model. So we have had successful deliberations.
Robert Anyango, UBC News.
The National Agricultural Research Organization called on the public to adopt agricultural research innovations developed by the institution to enhance agricultural productivity and improve overall health. Dr. Titus Alikai, the Director of Research at the National Crops Resource Center Institute, revealed that NARO has developed over 100 agricultural technologies. However, these innovations have not yet been fully embraced by communities.
The technologies include high-yielding crop and animal varieties, biofortified crops rich in essential nutrients for vulnerable populations, and post-harvest management solutions. These advancements are tailored to address challenges such as climate change, nutrition, and the promotion of commercial agriculture.
We now have what we call black rice and purple-fleshed sweet potato. These are very, very rich in compounds called anthocyanins. These really are the compounds that help to fight the bad molecules. They patrol our bodies and help in preventing a number of diseases, including cancer and other non-communicable diseases.
And that is why when you go to the market, to the producers, they will only call a variety new super. Because we have done everything to make it look like super in terms of the time you mill it and consume. But in the field, the grower will say it matures 2 months earlier because we have brought earliness in it. Why earliness? To avoid drought stress. So it's addressing also climate change.
NARO has also made significant strides in combating pests and diseases that have severely impacted agriculture production.
An example is the cassava mosaic disease pandemic that started here in Uganda and within 10 years had spread to about 10 other countries in Eastern, Central and Southern Africa from the mid-1990s. By 2004, our work through the development and dissemination of disease-resistant varieties had brought that disease epidemic of cassava mosaic under control by reducing the occurrence from a national average of about 64% to about 15%.
Another notable achievement is the development of the anti-tick vaccine by the National Livestock Resources Research Institute. Once approved for commercialization, the institute plans to produce 20 million doses annually.
So currently, as you can see, work is ongoing to be able to qualify NARO and NALIRI to produce the vaccine for commercialization. Once we have been approved for commercialization, that commercial production will be about 20 million doses per annum.
To ensure maximum protection for livestock, farmers will need to administer the vaccine in 3 doses at prescribed intervals.
The first regime is you introduce the product into the animal develops with protection, but you boost the second vaccine after 1 month or within 30 to 32 days. This ensures that the protective antibodies are lifted up, and then the animal is able to move out in the field. You fold it up, picking ticks all around, and the ticks get exposed to the vaccine. The third dose is given usually after 6 months, and after that we are confident that the product will be able to protect your animals from all types of invading ticks.
Additionally, NARO is tackling other livestock diseases such as foot and mouth disease, Newcastle disease and Gumboro.
We are also having other types of vaccines. We have Newcastle disease vaccine we are trying to improve on. We also have focus on Gumboro, and we are also looking at improving on the current East Coast fever vaccine that has been used in the region.
With 70% of NARO's innovations adopted so far, the organization is calling on farmers and stakeholders to embrace these technologies to strengthen food security and improve nutritional health.
We have released over 100 technologies from this institute that have been variously adopted by farmers in this country and beyond. And we have documented that in some cases there's up to 70% adoption of our technologies, and these are positively impacting the growers.
Mary Namkose, Stephen Kalisha, UBC News.
Final preparations for the African Union Extraordinary Summit, also known as CADP Summit, are complete. The event is scheduled to take place from January 9th to 11th, 2025 at the Speak Resort and Convention Center in Munyonyo, Kampala, Uganda. Jen Nyiramugisha had a chance to look at the preliminary preparations.
The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture and Chairperson of the Organizing Committee, Major General Kasura Chomukama, has confirmed that everything is in place to host the African Union Extraordinary Summit in Uganda. to the media during the final preparatory drills conducted by the organizing team at Entebbe International Airport to ensure all logistics are in order.
The purpose, I think, that the General Tisame and Kanami and all the other people, and here, are having these dry runs is to tease out any problem that might occur before this problem occurs, so that we iron it out, and where we need to change, we change. Where we need to keep good practices, we keep them. Where we need to get more resources, we get them. And
the summit presents a significant opportunity for Uganda to showcase its potential, with 49 African countries expected to attend. As of now, 39 countries have confirmed their participation, including 26 heads of delegation and 10 heads of state.
This conference is going to be an opportunity for us to showcase our ability. It's also going to be an opportunity for our people to make a little bit of money. And so, I urge everybody to take this with the seriousness it deserves.
The summit will focus on the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, CADIP, and is expected to see the adoption of the CADIP Action Plan for 2026-2035. The event will bring together key stakeholders, including government leaders, the private sector, farmer organizations, and the general public. Jane Nyuramjia reporting for UBC.
The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, advised Ugandans to utilize government roads by transporting agricultural merchandise in order to increase household income and fight poverty. Muyingo was officiating the groundbreaking of the reconstruction of Gaga Swamp Road in Chichusa Town Council, connecting Zirobwe, Chichusa, Kasana in Luweero District.
While addressing people who had come to witness the groundbreaking of the construction of Gaga Swamp Road in Chichusa Town Council, connecting Zirobwe, Chichusa, Kasana in Luweero District, State Minister for Higher Education Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo reaffirmed government's commitment to soon embark on the construction of Kabimbiri, Zirobwe, Bamunani, Kawobulenzi Road, among others.
Affecting the road. Let's try to arrest it early. Government has given us those machines. They are at the district. Let's sit there. They are there. Let's work together and see that we really rescue our people from wasting that. Actually, I would call this wastage of their time, valuable time.
He further encouraged communities living along these roads to utilize them by transporting their agricultural produce in order to increase their incomes and also fight poverty.
Let's join hands. Let's do our best to see that we generate enough material to enable us to utilize these roads and sell to the market. The market is, I'm really seeing a situation, and I'm looking forward to a situation where all the matoke that is taken from Kampala, all the fruits, are coming from this area.
Communities in Chichusa and other road users commended both Dr. Jesse Muyenga and the Minister of Works for the commitment to improve roads in Bamunanika.
Kirungi nnyo oluguudo bagenda kulukola naye batuukidde okulukola nga lutwononedde ebidduka lwonoonye kinene nnyo lungi nnyo okusooka okutulowoozaako ne kati kiseera gye tugendamu kya kampeyini.
Tusooka okwebaza olwa minisita waffe okuwulira omulanga gw'abantu. Kyamazima abantu bamutuuseeko ab'enjawulo olw'embeera y'ekkubo ng'ekkubo lino lya mugaso nnyo ne seminti ava mu kibuga Kampala oba ettolola ayita wano.
Isiza bubi ennaku enkulu ziridde mu mbeera etali nnungi, abantu bamenyesa amagulu, ebidduka by'abantu bifudde, kale ng'omuntu oba omukoledde ekkubo yasobola okwebwa nnaku neyeenoonyeza ssente naye embeera sinunyira kamula kuba tufunye omukisa nti gatanesa okukolebwako.
Stop breathing. To be a winner, you must breathe only when necessary. Breathing is for losers.
What is that? Did I give you permission to sweat? You can sweat in your free time. Push the arms straight.
Winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Uganda, are you ready to kick things up to the next level? The Uganda National Lottery brings you Sports Stake 10. Predict the results of 10 football games and win big. With tickets at only 500 shillings, join the fun and make your predictions count with Sports Stake 10. Sports Stake 10, your ticket to football glory.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Tuliku ground, Blascon, paint and win. This year, Blascon paint and win. The ground. Chicho, buy paint worth 100K. Get a scratch card. SMS the code to 7197. Stand a chance to win instant airtime, 1 million shillings bully day there, or a share over 3 million shillings jackpot each week. What do you want the brand new bodas, tuk-tuks, and so much more? Catch the paint and win action every Monday on Bukede One, NBS, and Sanyuka TV. Blascon, color your world.
Uganda will host the African Union Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government from the 9th to the 11th January 2025 at the Munyonyo Commonwealth Resort and Convention Center. The summit will consider and adopt the new Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, CADIP framework, and sign the Kampala Declaration to run for the next 10 years. The CADIP Kampala 2025 Summit will unite over 2,000 delegates, including government leaders, private sector and stakeholders, under the theme, Building Resilient Agri-Food Systems in Africa. Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukoto Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Welcome back. You're still watching the weekly roundup edition of the UBC Lunchtime News. The Office of the National Chairman of the National Resistance Movement announced its 2025 plans, which focused on youth entrepreneurship, raising awareness about government programs and campaigning for President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's re-election. Hajat Hadija Namyalo, head of the office, shared these plans in an interview with UBC. Let's take a look.
In 2024, the Office of the National Chairman successfully implemented initiatives focused on empowering youth, monitoring government programs, and providing essential items to boost the economy.
And 2025, we are going to proceed with our empowerments to ensure that people get what they deserve, to ensure that the youth benefit from the system besides the government policies or the government programs. We still have the yoga, we still have the parish model. Yes, His Excellency is moving around and he's going back. He's going to embark on his journey of preaching the gospel of wealth creation through parish development model, yoga.
This year, Hajat Hadia Namyalo emphasized that their focus areas include providing youth with entrepreneurship incentives, educating people on productive farming, and reaching out to the masses to garner support for the President's re-election.
His Excellency the President is preaching. in terms of the elections, when you are electing our leaders, in terms of development, it's going to be a key factor that is going to determine what will happen in the years later. So we call upon all Ugandans to be focused, remain focused, don't be diverted by self-seekers.
As the election campaign approaches, Namyalo cautioned the youth against deceitful politicians who fail to deliver on their promises.
Vote wisely, vote minds, don't vote for dense people, don't vote for people who had no value to you guys. Let us vote for a purpose, not for fun.
The office of the national chairman wished Ugandans a happy, prosperous and cooperative new year. The office of the national chairman 2025 plan aligns with the NRM party's manifesto, which aims to promote economic prosperity, improve household incomes and ensure socio-economic transformation.
And our office will be moving around to ensure that some of these things are fully implemented. If they are not, we write to the national chairman and ask him, Your Excellency, this was in your manifesto, why hasn't it lived to its full expectation?
Abdul Nasser Lubwama and Joseph Moyingo for UBC.
Furthermore, Uganda stands higher chances of benefiting economically from the upcoming African Union Summit on Agriculture. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, General David Kasura Chomukama sees an opportunity for Uganda and Africa to advance further the agenda of food security and commercialized agriculture. This, he said, while assessing the extent of preparedness at Speak Resort Munyonyo, where he encouraged Ugandans to fully embrace the summit in order to yield out of the three-day engagement.
Ready to host African farmers in Uganda, government officials have been taken through an assessment tour on the level of preparedness at Speak Resort Munyonyo. The group, led by Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, General David Kasura, is satisfied.
We are about 90% ready. We have the venue, we have accommodation, we are prepared vis-a-vis the conference hall. We have a very beautiful conference hall, and I want to commend the chairman of the Ruparelia group, Mr. Sudhir. It's really commendable. This conference hall, if you did not have the word Uganda on it, you would think you're in London or somewhere else.
But behind this preparedness lies several opportunities for Uganda and the entire African continent. Food security and commercial agriculture remain a top-notch agenda that the continent should embrace for purposes of prosperity.
This summit is an opportunity for us to showcase our country. It's an opportunity for us to impose the narrative, to reinforce the narrative that we are a stable, beautiful, productive, well-mannered, and nice country. We are known all over the world for our smiles. We are known all over the world for having beautiful people. We are known all over the world for being very accommodative, for being people who receive visitors very well. Now, add to this, because anybody who has all these characteristics should add to this the ability to make some bit of money.
This is in line with the theme of the upcoming Extraordinary Summit. The Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program, CADIP, is due to take place in Kampala, Uganda.
It will make us more independent. It will give us the capacity to map our own destinies, and it will improve our capacity to work together towards ensuring that the Africa we want is the Africa that we can get. It is criminal in this young age, 2025, to have we who are endowed by nature to be relying on other people to ensure our survival. I think CADAP is going to help us to put another foundation stone towards ensuring that we are independent and that we don't rely on many other people for our future.
CADIP, as goes its short form, is a 2063 continental initiative aimed at helping African countries eliminate hunger and reduce poverty through agriculture-led development. In Uganda, it is taking place from 9th to 11th January 2025 at Speak Resort Munyonyo, with the country standing at 90% level of preparedness. Henry Okrut, UBC.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chiruzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. We now take you into the world of business. The question of rice cultivation in wetlands has led to the suggestion of alternative practices, such as fish farming along Uganda's wetland borders. However, the full-scale success of this approach has yet been realized in many parts of the country. But what if Uganda had fully embraced then Vice President Professor Gilbert Bukenya's upland rice growing project? What would be the case today?
Let us go back to the book of Genesis, where God commanded that let the dry land be separated from the water. It says in chapter 1.
This was President Yoweri Museveni on 31st December 2024. It was his last address of the year. The head of state was concerned that wetlands were still being degraded.
Why do you build in a wetland? Why do you build in a wetland? Don't you know that one day that house will be swept away?
This is the Limoto wetland that the president has always talked about. The last time we visited it was in 2018. Progress had been registered. District officials from both Kibuku and Palisa were optimistic.
Instead of them going for rice cultivation, which had become now seasonal, they now grow crops throughout the year.
However, a few years later, rice growers returned to the wetland.
We should amend the law, which is very clear that the wetland, this is what they call a wetland. Not every pot where the water gets stuck is a wetland.
It has since remained wetland this, wetland that on rice growing.
Ambrose down there in Ngenge.
But what would the fate of rice growers be today had the country embraced Professor Gilbert Bukenya's upland rice growing project? The year was 2003. Professor Gilbert Bukenya, then Vice President of Uganda, had traveled to Thailand, where he noticed 100% of the country depended on rice. Curious, he wanted to see how rice was grown. And that is how he was driven to a place he describes as the heatland.
We went into the fields and I was amazed that the science was in Uganda, but the science had not left where it is being produced to the communities. I was a bit upset actually, but they made me to get in contact with Sasakawa.
Sasakawa was a private organization promoting a variety of local seeds. He was then introduced to Nerika 3, a rice variety developed by both Africa and Japan to grow in the uplands. Here in Africa, it had been developed in Uganda and Nigeria. Amazed, he asked for some seeds, which he planted on 1 acre of his farm and harvested 2.5 tons.
Almost 95% of the rice was being imported from Pakistan, from Gujarat in India, and a bit of it from Malaysia. And you know, someone told me, you know, in Pakistan at the bay, they have silos of rice, and the silos are written on for Uganda, then this rice goes, and most of the silos were written on African names.
After this successful experiment, it was extended to other parts of the country. Greater Luero, including Nakasongola, were destined to benefit, as well as the northern and western parts of the country. Acholi and Karamoja, Kisoro and Bundibujo were earmarked. The success of the upland rice in these areas, however, Bukenya says were politicized.
I was amazed by particularly politicians who mixed up politics with a very essential food security item, discouraging it to be grown. Let me tell you, one minister, whose name I will not say, went around shouting, Bukenya is finishing our swamps, Bukenya is finishing our forests, because he is growing rice in the water. I never promoted any rice grown in water. Never.
But how far would this have gone had the country fully embraced it? We spoke to some environment and climate change advocates.
If that had been taken seriously, I don't think by now we would be going through this. Because when you look at some of these floods, it is coming as a result of encroachment on wetland. And the most activities that is being done along the wetland are rice farming.
Not everyone is totally in agreement.
Upland rice can be additional. It can be an option because it will reduce demand for lowland rice. So we should promote upland rice, but it may not be a replacement entirely for lowland rice, because globally I am not aware of any country where upland rice is higher in productivity than lowland rice.
There are still people, including me. Last year I planted, I got about 70 bags. Actually, I have not yet sold them. But I'm even thinking, how much have I invested? How much am I going to get from it? Now, we have the competing inflow rice, like from our neighboring countries, with the East African spirit. How do we prevent theirs coming in?
But what makes these upland rice varieties different from their lowland counterparts, aside from being a complement to wetland restoration efforts? Here are Professor Bukenya's other reasons.
The Asian tigers, and they're called Asian tigers, all of them depend on rice. In their place they can grow banana. In their place they can grow cassava. In their places they can also grow corn. But they depend entirely on rice. They eat it for breakfast, they eat it for lunch, they drink it as alcohol in the evening, and they eat it for supper. And they are brainy.
In fact, the Europeans fear them. They are brainy, actively producing many things which here in Africa should have produced.
Rice continues to be one of the most grown and consumed food crops that turned into a cash crop in Uganda. However, where it is grown in the wetlands remains a concern for environmental experts and the country. Henry Okrut, UBC.
And that brings us to the end of our weekly roundup edition of the UBC Lunchtime News. Thank you for being a lovely audience. Do join us later on this evening for more news in our subsequent bulletins, Kiswahili, Luganda, and English. Good afternoon.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Uganda will host the African Union Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government from the 9th to the 11th January 2025 at the Munyonyo Common